Okay, what is up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Of course, check out the Discord channel as well, linked in the description. You can find updates there, chat with other traders, chat with myself, share ideas there, and of course, you can join a community. So if you are looking to get involved, check it out. Completely free to join. Links in the description and also at the top of the chat. But good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everyone is doing well. Raphael, what is up? Aussie and longs we'll take a look at. First, as always, I'll go through the USD pairs. We'll take a look at gold, silver, USD majors, DXY as well. If you do have any requests, let me know it in the chat and we will eventually get to it. Of course, let me know any timeframes as well. In particular, you are focusing on. But we'll start with the dollar and work our way through these markets. So USD's been quite bearish. We did gap down a bit as well as the new daily candle did open. But the key takeaway for the dollar is that we're still respecting this area here, which does keep the market bearish. I did say I'm looking for some longs for USD, but the important thing is price does need to take out the high here. If price can take out the high at 99.5, then I would be looking at some buying opportunities on some pullbacks and potentially looking to target some areas around there. So that was where the bullish bias or bullish setup could potentially arise. But at the moment, of course, we're still respecting supply and we're looking pretty bearish. And of course, if price maintains these lower highs, then there is a pretty good chance the market does push back to lows. After all, we still do have a bearish market on higher time frames as well. So we could still very much see a push back into the low. Again, I'm not necessarily looking to sell the dollar. It's a little bit overextended, quite corrective in this move as well. So particularly as a swing trader where I want to position myself, I do want the dollar to have a much bigger pullback before I do anticipate any shorting opportunities. So as a result, I'm not really interested in shorting the pair. I'm more interested to see if I can take the opposite side and go bullish with USD. But because we haven't taken out these highs, I'm going to hold back on that bullish bias for now. And if we maintain supply here resistance, we very much could fall back to lows and see some new ones. So the biggest takeaway, supply is holding, resistance is holding, bear still stepping into the market. That swing trade I was looking for, not quite here yet. It might come around next week, but of course, today's already Friday and it doesn't look like price is about to take up the high. So keep a close eye on that. But at the moment, bears still look in control of the market. Take a look at Euro USD. So Euro, again, respected support. Very nice reaction. This happened shortly after we ended the stream yesterday, actually. I talked about I wasn't really liking how price was reacting. So I did mention perhaps we might see a retest of this area and a double bottom come around. And we did see that. Actually, this was around 7 p.m. actually. So towards the end of yesterday, but a very nice double bottom there. Strong reaction. This is kind of what I'm looking for in terms of an entry signal. Price will give you a lot of bullish candles, a lot of bullish engulfing candles, a lot of bearish engulfing candles, but it doesn't mean you should take each and every one of them. There will be better versions of the bullish engulfing, better versions of the bearish engulfing, and this would be one of them. But as you can see, it engulfs 1, 2, 3, 4 candles all in one go off key support. That is a very nice shift of momentum. And yeah, since then, price has been looking pretty bullish, and we basically just respected this area. So this could be another correction for Euro. If we do kind of break the channel to the upside here, then I would expect naturally a swing back to the high end. And then, of course, probably some higher highs at that point. Of course, Euro overall still a very bullish market. We are still very consistent with these high lows. I was looking for us to go and take out this low. And that, again, will allow me to look for selling opportunities for Euro. So same with the DXY. If you took up the high, buying for the DXY. So selling for Euro. Not really interested with buying Euro USD. Like I said, we're a little bit high up. Prices, of course, still kind of struggling at highs as well. So I think intraday looks good for the buys, which we mentioned yesterday. But for a bigger swing trade, I'm still kind of waiting for shorts. If I am going to look to long Euro, it has to be a very strong move to the upside. I need to see momentum step back into the market. It doesn't have to be as bullish as we were back over here, but I do need to see a much more stronger move than what we had here, especially with how corrected we looked, especially that we just kind of failed at the highs a little bit as well. Not a good sign for the buyers. So if we see some momentum come in from somewhere, strong break to the highs, that would be great. Then yeah, I will look for the pullbacks afterwards, because that momentum would tell me, okay, the trend is healthy again and we're likely to continue. But I'm still waiting for the shorts. At the moment, not looking likely, but we'll have to wait and see. And yeah, if we do get the break of the channel there, I would expect price to get back to high. So perhaps some breakout opportunities on the lower time frames could look good. Pound USD did respect some key support. I must admit, price did respect that level. I was looking for it to break yesterday, but yeah, pound actually reacted quite bullish to the news. Well, initially reacted quite bearish to the interest rates, but that kind of flipped within about an hour, and pound's a little bit strong, and of course USD being a little bit weak kind of helped that out. But you can see a very, very significant level here on the daily chart. Respected it once over there, massive move to the downside. Respected it briefly there as well. Nice push down. As you can see, we're still just about holding a support. So this was the key level, which I said if price does break through, I would be bearish on pound and looking for perhaps a retest of the level to short it and hopefully catch next lower high. Somewhat of a head and shoulder pattern. Left, head, right shoulder. So there was, and still is, some nice downside potential for pound, but we are not breaking that level. We respected it very well. Momentum shifted, and we're looking quite bullish. Now, the way I'm taking pound USD really is that we're still very much in this consolidation. Price has respected the high a couple times, respected the low a couple times, and it looks to me that price is just respecting the low end of this range. So naturally, we might see a push back to the high end. I'm not going to be looking to buy pound USD until I see some healthy momentum come back into the market. A strong break of the highs, similar situation to euro, because they've both been quite corrected recently. But if I do see a strong break, that kind of shows me, okay, the buyers are back in control. The trend is relatively healthy again. We probably can see some continuation, and that would invite me into some buying opportunities. But at the moment, still within the range. I think if you haven't found entries down here, I wouldn't really be looking to jump in unless you're very, very intraday. Maybe price does come back down to retest the lows again. Maybe forms a bit of a double bottom. I would keep an eye on that. But if we do kind of just slowly push to the upside, I would say the train's left the station. Wait to see what we do at the highs. Maybe we come back down. Maybe we get a breakout. But for now, it's been a strong rejection of the lows. And price might be making a move back to the higher end of the range. Dollar CAD, a bit more upside for this one. Starting to struggle a little bit at the highs here. Again, overall, dollar CAD is still very much a bearish market. But I've been looking for a bounce as we've come into this area. And we have seen a bounce. Just didn't really get that double bottom opportunity, which I've been looking for, or the higher low just yet. We had that initial reaction on Tuesday, and we've been looking bullish since then. Now, if the market doesn't pull back to give me the equal low or the higher low, then if it does kind of just slowly push to the upside, then I will become a bit more bearish on dollar CAD and probably start looking for selling opportunities, because as we approach these type of areas, this is now coming back into bearish territory. And as a swing trader, I potentially could catch a lower high on a move back down. This is the area I've been bullish from, looking for buying opportunities. Unfortunately, haven't found an entry. But if we just keep pushing to the upside, I'm not going to continue to look for buys, because now we're in an area where sales make sense and where potential low high could form and a push down. So if we do continue to push, I think at least to 1.38, that's where I'll start to consider some shorts. 1.38, 1.39, 1.395. These are the areas which I will look to short. If we do come back down again, I will look to buy the market. As of right now, we're kind of in the middle of nowhere, so not really looking to do anything with dollar CAD. But if we can push back down to 1.355, longs look good. Push back to 1.38, 1.39, shorts look good. So just trying to position myself well in the market. Doesn't really matter the bias, because there's always going to be selling opportunities. There's always going to be buying opportunities. It's just about where do you position yourself? Is it appropriate? But yeah, that's kind of what I'm waiting for dollar CAD. Aussie dollar, same old really. Just a lot more corrective behavior. We did have a bit of bearishness yesterday, but didn't really amount to much. You can see we did push down, but kind of just respected the low of the trend line. So yeah, not a lot to report on. I did say I'm still looking for the retest of the upper end of the channel. If price was to get there again, respect it well, I would be looking for a sell, because again, when you have a corrective move like this, I'm always expecting price to break lower. It's not guaranteed, but more often than not, when you have a corrective behavior like this, especially kind of after a big move in the market, normally we do tend to break lower, and we do tend to break with quite a lot of momentum as well. So shorts is my expectation. I'm expecting the market to sell off. Now, the tricky thing is, when does that happen? We could do it now. We might push back into resistance and do it from there. We might push into the top of the channel and then do it from there. Or, of course, we might not do it at all. Maybe price is going to break higher. That's, of course, a possibility. But the higher probable outcome would be a break lower. And the best place to position myself would be at the top end of the channel. Relatively safe stop loss, away from all the noise. Maximize my risk to reward. So yeah, naturally that would be the best place to short. So that's really what I'm waiting for Aussie dollar to get to, and staying patient. But a very, very noisy market. I kind of want to be away from all the noise. There'll be a lot of stop losses just resting above here. Yeah, I do want my stop loss there. If it can be even higher, that would be great. New Zealand dollar, we did see a bit of a breakout for this one, but it hasn't really got going yet. It might just be prices having a bit of a pullback before it does continue. So you can see the breakout we had yesterday, but momentum kind of dried up a little bit, which isn't great, because typically after such a corrective move like this, similar to Aussie dollar, I'm not expecting price just to slightly break out the channel. I'm expecting pretty heavy momentum to the downside. I'm looking for us to come back and retest these lows. So the fact that we did see a nice initial breakout, but momentum dried out, and now we're starting to push up. What I want to see is price pretty much respect this area and be on its way. If we start breaking above and start breaking back inside the channel, we're back at square one really, and I wouldn't touch NZD. I think there could be some nice shorts here, or even potentially the retest of that range there, because that's initially where the kind of momentum came from, so that's a nice area of supply. But I do want to see us break back above the range, or clear this area. So if we can find some resistance here, I think that could end up being a very nice place for a short. Hourly chart, we still look quite corrective, which again is a good sign. Shows that this is likely a pullback. So perhaps a strong close outside of that would be a nice entry, take you back into the lows, and then if everything goes very well, maybe these lows down there as well. But yeah, NZUSD, strong break of the channel. I would be pretty bearish with this one. It depends what USD does as well, but at least from a technical point of view, NZUSD is pointing downwards in my opinion. Gold been a bit interesting. Gold and silver have been a bit interesting. Gold still falling to the downside. Again, I'm still bullish for gold. It hasn't done anything that would tell me not to be bullish. You've still got market structure here with these higher highs and higher lows. You've still got the overall uptrend. If you look at the bigger picture, so if I expand to the daily chart, what is the market doing? It's been on a very, very dramatic uptrend. So there's no sign of reversal just yet. So naturally, I'm still very much a buyer of the market. And I would be expecting us to push back to the all-time high, which is at 3,500. So very, very bullish for gold. We've pulled back into an interesting area, which lines up with this trend line very well. We've got this kind of brief range here, kind of area of demand, which we're more or less tapping into as well. So in terms of confluence, I would say we're in a smart place for a buy. Now it's just up to gold to show us momentum, because I was speaking about this range here. We had that wick to the downside. I was like, okay, it looks like gold's rejecting the lows. Potentially that could be the higher low. Now I just need to see momentum come into the market, and that would be my entry. Didn't see that happen. We kind of just sluggishly rolled over. Now I'm kind of viewing this as a descending channel here, really. So if I could see price break above that channel, I think that would be a great entry signal, especially with a strong close in the 4-hour chart. Something like this, strong close. That would be a great entry. Stops below the low. Initial targets back to the high. But of course, expectations would be a push back to the all-time high, and actually expectations would be new highs beyond that. So gold to me still looks like a good buy. We've just had a very prolonged pullback. Again, it hasn't taken out any key structure. If gold was suddenly to sell off and take out these lows, then yeah, I would be a bit hesitant to buy gold at that point. I wouldn't necessarily be bearish, but I wouldn't probably be looking to actively buy it until I get some more development. But as of right now, the higher highs and higher lows still intact. Pull back into a nice area, keeping a close eye at this 33.50 area for a buy. Just need to see momentum really come in. And lastly, you've got silver, which had a really big push down. I wasn't expecting that. My focus for silver was this range here. I was looking for buying opportunities in this area. Price was moving sideways. We were seeing a little bit of wicks to the downside, nothing too excessive, but we were seeing some wicks, so I was starting to get excited a little bit. But again, the key thing for my entries is always momentum. I like to enter when momentum shifts because it kind of shows that, okay, the level, whichever area I was buying or selling from, price is starting to gather momentum, speed in that direction. And yeah, didn't see that happen. And of course, we had this big bearish candle overnight. So again, nothing crazy for silver. We still do have a very big level below us here. So if we do fall even further, not to panic. This level here, just below 35, is still a very, very key level for me. If price was to get there, I would still be very bullish, still looking to buy the market. But yeah, the way price has moved, I don't know if I'll be actively looking to buy it just yet. I understand that we've come back into support here. We could respect this and push up, but it's not really ticking my boxes yet. So I would like to see silver kind of push a little bit further down. This would be my preferred setup, and I think that would be a great place to position long. Swing back into the high. I still do expect us to eventually get to 40 as well. So I've got some big targets for silver, but yeah, with the way we sold off there, I would like to see a bit more downside before buying it. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD pairs as a whole. Well, majority of the USD pairs, plus of course a couple of metals there. I will take a look at Aussie Yen Raphael. What's up, Ivan? Good morning. Hope you're well. David, welcome from Kenya. Wicked, welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Analyze gold on the hourly. Okay, we'll have a look. See. Aussie Yen, yes, we'll take a look. Morning, Dmar. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Ivan, New Zealand Seat Chef, long term. Okay, buy it. If we're in above it, I would buy. If we go under, sell. Okay. Again, when you say long term, it depends how long term you mean. It's long term 6 months, is long term 6 weeks, because I probably could have a different bias for both of those time periods. But I will go through New Zealand Sea Chef, because we are coming from all-time lows. I do think there's a big buy to be had. I don't think we've seen the most of it yet, but of course the market is still largely bearish. So despite the pullback I'm expecting, if you're looking at 6 months, we probably still will head down. But I'll go through that in detail in a moment. Okay, yep, we'll take a look at gold USD. What's up, Mo? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. So let me take a look at Aussie Yen, and then I'll go through gold on the lower time frames. So yeah, with Aussie Yen, it still looks bullish to me. I know as a whole we've been falling for a while. Since November last year, we've been in a pretty nice bearish trend. But since the low here, we've respected it, and price is starting to see somewhat of a bullish trend. We haven't really taken out any major structure to our left. This is technically the high that gave us the new low. So technically speaking, price does need to break through that high to really symbolize a change in direction. But we've had a prolonged up move for a while, and the fact that price is still trying to sell off here, but still respecting lows and forming higher lows, does tell me that we probably will see a push back to the highs here, which is 95.5, we'll call it. So I'm expecting a drive higher for Aussie Yen. In terms of finding opportunities, that's where it becomes a little bit difficult, because I don't really want to be looking to buy the market directly into resistance, even though I do favor price to break through. I kind of want price to have a bit of a sell-off, kind of like what we did over here, and trying to find another higher low in these areas, because that's where you can buy at a healthy price. You can get a healthy stop loss, and of course it does maximize your risk to reward. And I never really want to be buying into resistance in the first place, even if I do expect price to break through, because if it doesn't, I look a little bit silly. So I would want price to push down. But yeah, my bias would be a push higher. So we might break through to the upside straight away, or we might push down one more time and then push up. But this would be my target for Aussie yen, and then we'll go from there. I can't really say too much about what I expect afterwards, because I need to see how price reacts with the level in terms of momentum as well, see how we got there. Was it very impulsive? Was it very slow and corrective? That will help kind of determine my bias. But for now, especially with this heavy sell off here, and price reversed pretty swiftly afterwards, does tell me that Aussie yen still looks pretty bullish and we're likely to push back into resistance. So yeah, Aussie yen, I do see price pushing higher. I do want to go through more of the yen pairs, but I'll go through gold quickly on the hourly chart. So as for gold, as I said, same old, still looking for buys. The major structure in the 4-hour chart still pointing up. High, higher low, high, higher low, higher high. So again, looking for another higher low. And my expectation would be a push back to the all-time high. So nothing's really changed here. And of course, we all know the larger uptrend at play here, which of course adds fuel to the fire, wind to our sails. If you want that kind of analogy. But yeah, the higher time frames are backing up the buy. So in this type of condition, I would only be looking to buy. And from an hourly perspective, it's difficult because of this corrective channel. Every time the market does create a new low, we do push up, but we are finding resistance. Yeah, I don't mind the buys here for gold. I think if you want to find a safe entry on the hourly chart, what you could do is wait for price to give you this move. So break through structure, break out that channel, and then try and look for a quick retest somewhere, maybe on this area or maybe on this level, depends how big the breakout is. But essentially looking for a big push in the first place, and then pullbacks after to then long and follow to the upside. And yeah, it depends how much and how big of a breakout we get, but that's essentially what I'd be looking at. Then yeah, targets back to the high and then targets back to the all-time high. So you can look to be a little bit more aggressive and try and buy at the lows here. Of course, if you were to do that, then targets kind of have to be at the top end of the channel there, because if price starts to reject and comes back down, you do want to be able to secure some profits. But if you do wait for price to break the channel, you got that confirmation that says, okay, buyers are stepping in. This is likely a higher low now. Now, if I can find a pullback somewhere, there's a good chance that I could, take advantage of this move back to the high and probably further as well. So it depends how aggressive you want to be. You can look for entries here or wait for the breakout. There's no right or wrong answer to it. One's a bit more aggressive, this opportunity. One's a bit more conservative, this opportunity, because you're waiting for that confirmation, you're waiting for the pullback after the breakout. So again, and of course the benefit is, yes, a bit more aggressive. Price could of course still keep falling as well. Although it's more aggressive, you're positioned better and you probably would have a greater risk reward as well. So in terms of the cons here, you might not get the pullback. There are times where price does break out and just keeps going without a pullback. So there might not actually be a pullback opportunity. And the second kind of con to that is that your risk reward might not be that great either. But again, like I said, no right or wrong answer, but two different opportunities to look at. But yeah, I'll just be focused on the buys for now with gold. So yeah, still expecting a lot more upside. I'm still looking to buy out on the 4-hour chart, but same idea pretty much. Okay, we'll go through New Zealand CHF for Ivan, take a look at that opportunity. Then we'll go through Euro NZD as well. Ameth, good morning. Hope you're well. David, appreciate it. Thank you. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please drop a like. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Again, it helps the channel grow. If you're enjoying it, might as well. And of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But yeah, appreciate it. Rob, good morning. Hope you're well. Nope, haven't gone through BTC yet. I'll go through a couple of pairs people have requested, then I'll take a look at BTC in a moment. Wayne, dollar yen, we will take a look as well. No problemo. New Zealand CHF. So long-term bias for this one. I think I would probably just stick with the daily chart then. So yeah, with New Zealand CHF, my long-term bias, again, is mostly to the upside. I'm expecting a pretty big recovery. Main reason, we're coming from all-time lows. And if you zoom out, look at the bigger picture of New Zealand CHF. Every time price does take out a low, what happens, we do have pretty big recoveries. Here, not so much, but I still think we're due a pretty big recovery. So long-term, my bias would be bullish on this one. Doesn't mean we can't still fall a little bit further and then go see the move. But I do think the bigger move naturally will be to the upside, just again looking at the historic patterns of price here for New Zealand CHF. So long-term bias would be bullish. Looking at the more kind of immediate price action on the daily chart, the way I see it, price is just consolidating. So if we are going to break to the upside, I think that would be a nice catalyst to be looking to buy, because if we do see something like this, then sure, I think the pullbacks look good and buys look really good there. And we can probably start to target, you know, some of the highs over here, you know, as targets for the trade. So that would make me bullish for New Zealand CHF at the moment, because we're just ranging. I'm not really interested in trading the pair and getting involved in this area. But if I do see a solid break to the upside, I would be looking at pullbacks, probably a retest of the high, and then some longs back into those swing highs. And of course, I know I'm backed by the higher time frames because of where we're positioned. You know, if the market's at all-time lows, you have to think to yourself, who's selling at these prices? You know, a lot of the bigger players will probably be taking profit, which should give the market a bit of a lift. So if I do see a strong break like that, I would be pretty bullish. But you said okay, you would sell. I know price would come from the all-time low, but price is closing below area interest. I think it's going to retest and low. Also, wicks into 0.5. Okay, you're talking about the wick over here, I'd imagine. Head and shoulder. Yeah, I mean, that could be the case. I can see your point there with the left, the head, and the right shoulder there, and this kind of being a neckline for the pattern. So I can definitely agree with that as well. I feel like if we do see a solid break to the downside, so just as I was saying, if we do see a solid break to the upside, it would be pretty bullish, looking for pullbacks and more upside. If price does the exact same thing to the downside, I would be pretty bearish, to be fair, because we could very much still have another retest of the lows, and we could even create new all-time lows. You know, price doesn't have to pull back necessarily on this move. You know, price could still take out lows and then have a big recovery. So it's not guaranteed that we're to see upside like right now. It could be on the next swing, so I can definitely understand that. But yeah, the way I see New Zealand CHF right now is just kind of consolidating, getting ready to pick a direction. If it does break to the downside, yeah, I would be bearish too on that one. This would become a very solid level of support, which will be turned resistance, and that could be a great place to look for a retest and some shorting opportunities, and hopefully a push back into the low. So yeah, I can see price going both ways, really. I think the best thing to do is stay fairly neutral and kind of wait for price just to pick the direction for us. If we do see a strong break to the upside, I wouldn't be looking to short the pair, I'd be looking to buy. If we do see a strong break to the downside, I wouldn't be looking to buy, I would be looking to sell. So it really depends what price gives us. But yeah, I can see price going both ways, really. Okay, Euro NZD. So this one has been somewhat bullish. Nice push to the upside yesterday. It looks like we've kind of formed a bit of a double bottom here. Now price has had this big move, kind of breaking out of this trend line. Looks like we've had a retest of that, so to speak. Nice impulse here. Could probably view this as a bit of a correction of that move. And now looks like we're going for a bit of a continuation. So yeah, USD, I find it difficult to buy. I mean, the market is still bullish as a whole. You know, you got a bullish market there with an uptrend, so I can understand that. And of course, now we're starting to see momentum on the 4-hour chart as well. But we still have, you know, big levels of resistance to our left here, and I'm just not really seeing good opportunity to buy it. I suppose if we can have another strong push, maybe something like that would interest me, because now we've got like a well-established bullish structure on the 4-hour chart. You know, with this move, I could see us potentially failing at highs and coming right back down. So I don't really have a crystal clear opportunity with USD right now. Like I said, trend is still up, and if the trend is going to continue, then I just want to see a continuation of that strong break of the highs, and naturally pullbacks after that. We could be looking at the retest of that level, and that could be a great opportunity to buy the market. But yeah, until I see that, I'm kind of just staying a bit more neutral. I'm not looking to sell the pair, I'm not looking to buy the pair. To be honest, we've been very, very flat for quite a while since the drop here in the 14th of April. So going back at least a couple months now, the market hasn't really gone anywhere. So I'm not really seeing much opportunity in this area. If we were to go and break to the upside, you see a strong move, a lot of momentum like we've seen here, then yeah, we probably are going to continue higher. We could look for a retest somewhere. Maybe price is going to run back to highs. Equally, if price starts to struggle here, I could see us go for a bit of a sell-off again. Now we're back to square one, really. So yeah, USD, it's just a very flat pair right now. I'm not really seeing a solid opportunity. If we go and break the highs again, that will give me confidence to buy the market. But until then, personally, I'm just going to keep an eye on the pair and just wait for more development, more information. At the moment, not really seeing a solid opportunity just yet. Okay, so we'll go through BTC next, and we'll take a look at dollar yen. Teshepo gold accomplished by above 33.75. Okay, I'll have a look at that price. What's up, Matter? Good morning. Hope you're well. Huge fan, appreciate it. How can you go about that when trading price action? Well, I mean, with price action, it's the study of what price does historically and what patterns it presents. So with the market being manipulated, us retail traders, you know, there's nothing we can do. We're just small fish, very, very small fish in a large ocean, really. So in terms of kind of looking to outsmart the market, that's not essentially the goal for us retail traders. We're just trying to look to take small pieces of the pie, really. And the beauty of trading price action is that, you know, there are so many participants in the market, and, you know, human psychology is roughly on average pretty much the same. So when times of crisis, people tend to do this, to do the same thing. In times of you know, prosperity and just good and a good environment, people do the same thing. So there's patterns within that. When people see something happen, they do tend to do this to do the same thing. So what that does, it creates patterns in the market. So even if the market is manipulated, even heavily manipulated, you know, people would still do the same thing regardless. And that will create patterns in the market, and that's where us retail, you know, pattern traders come in. We spot these patterns and we trade them. So the market being manipulated or not manipulated or whatever it is, doesn't really matter, because the patterns happen regardless. Double tops, very, very simple pattern. You know, there's a double bottom right there. You know, it's not necessarily we're trying to solve the market here. We're just trying to take educated guesses where potentially the market could go next. So yeah, the answer to the question is patterns happen throughout the market history. They're likely to continue to happen unless something drastically changes, like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not too sure what would change that. Probably replace all humans trading the market or buying and selling. So yeah, I mean, yes, the market is manipulated, but patterns happen, and yeah, as long as people keep behaving the same way, they will continue to happen, and that's pretty much a certainty. So, regardless, focus on patterns because they have a historic evidence of happening, and the likelihood of continuing to happen. So that's where my focus is, regardless of what higher, what bigger players are doing. Okay, let's take a look at BTC. So Bitcoin, a bit flat now. I did expect a bit of a range to form for Bitcoin. Looks like a range is happening. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really seeing much here with Bitcoin. We're forming lower highs here, which isn't necessarily a worry. It's just we are quite flat, and of course, you can see where we're trading back at the all-time highs. So clearly, there's some struggle to break through them. I did say coming into the week, I think a nice place to pick up some longs for BTC would be the lows here at 101K. I think that's still a very smart place for, excuse me, just sneezed. Managed to mute the mic in time though. So yeah, I still think this is a great place for a buy. 102, 101K. Very solid support. Momentum is still with the buyers as well. Since the low here in April, we have seen a lot of upside. What happened there? We have seen a lot of upside since the beginning of April. And as long as price holds the support level, I would remain bullish. If price was to suddenly have a strong break of that, yeah, I would, again, not necessarily be bearish, but I wouldn't be looking to buy the market anymore. This is still a very sensible level to buy the market from. You can see previously we had a very strong sell into that level and price recovered very, very strongly. So that's a very sharp reaction, which tells me that buyers are holding very firm here. They're not quite strong enough to create any new higher highs, which is why we're kind of getting a bit of consolidation. And if I was to pick up a long from here, I wouldn't necessarily be looking for a big swing. It would be more so kind of catch a reaction, maybe to like the 50% of this range. So if I was to mark 50, drop a line there, that kind of would roughly be my target for the move. More so just trying to catch a reaction rather than a swing. So if we do come back into support, catch a push, maybe roughly around that 50 area as a target, you can probably leave some positions to trail just in case we see a bigger move. But the fact that we are forming lower highs as well would be a bit of a worry. So BTC, the biggest takeaway is that we're all-time highs, price is consolidating, and I think we're just going to get ready for a big move. Whether it's going to be to the downside or to the upside is yet to be seen. But if you're looking for some short-term plays, buying off the lows I think is the best way to tackle it. And we'll see what BTC has in store for us for the bigger move. But it's difficult to predict with the price action we've got now. Okay, so I'll go through dollar yen next. Take a look at that buy idea to Shepo. Ivan, I marked level 0.489. Okay, let me have a quick look at that. 0.489. Okay, somewhere. Let me scoot to the daily chart. So somewhere around here. So you're looking for that to break? I mean, probably mark that as generally an area of support, really. But yeah, I mean, the way I'm looking at the market is essentially we're ranging, and I'm waiting for price to commit in one direction, whether it's going to be to the low or to the upside is yet to be seen. I'm not really trying to guess which way either. If I'm going to be bearish on New Zealand CHF, I need to see that low go. If I'm going to be bullish, I need to see that high go. Whilst price is in the middle and fluctuating and bouncing off levels, I'm not really too interested with the price action or trying to develop a bias. I just want to see price commit, gauge momentum. If things look good, I'll look to follow it. Duncan, new viewer, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. How many trades do you take a week or the month? I take probably an average between 6 and 12. Yeah, I'd probably say that's kind of my average, maybe a bit closer towards the 12 side of things, but yeah, it depends how active or how many opportunities I'm getting. But yeah, between those two is probably my average. Anyway, let's take a look at dollar yen. I want to go through some of the yen pairs as well. No problem, Mata. Happy to help. What's up, beautiful heart? Welcome to the stream. Good morning. Good morning. So yeah, with dollar yen, again, I'm still bearish with this one. I am still bearish with this one. I do think longer term, price is still very much likely to break through support here and see a big move. So I am inclined to have bearish expectations, but the market's been very, very flat. It does look like we're approaching resistance again. So I think this is a smart place to be looking to short the market. I like how corrective we are as well. Kind of shows that momentum is slowing down. So yeah, shorts at the high of the range, I don't think is such a bad idea. I've been talking about this range here for dollar yen for quite a while. Pretty much equal highs, of course, except this breakout over here. And then pretty much equal lows here, 1, 2, 3, 4 tests of that level. So the market has just been fluctuating between this high and that and that low. Now that we're pushing back to the high of the range, can we see another rejection? Can we sell off again? Absolutely. If you see a strong enough rejection, even a nice close below that channel, I think that's a nice selling opportunity, and targets back at the low makes a load of sense. Or you can target the 50% as well. That's always a nice place to target when trading a range. But yeah, that's what I would be expecting. If we were to break to the upside, then I would be looking for a push back to the swing high here at 148.5. So if price does break the high well, it's just a simple break and retest opportunity, and I would expect to push back to the high at 148.5. And of course, if we can break to the downside, there might be a nice retest opportunity for a sell back into the swing low here as well. So the way I see it with dollar yen, we're ranging. You can look to kind of play it two ways. You're either waiting for price to break out the range and look for opportunities outside of that, so break and retest, breakout opportunities, or you're looking to trade within the range, looking to short high and buy low. Short the highs, expecting price to reject the high and push down, or you can look to buy the lows, expecting price to bounce there, not break out and push back up again. So you're looking to either trade within the range or outside the range. But either which way, you want to be operating at the highs and at the lows, because that's where the value is. In the middle is where you don't want to be. That's where the most fluctuation, the most indecision will be. So yeah, keep a close eye at 146. Depending what we do with that, break it or respect it, there will be an opportunity. But yeah, I do have a bearish bias for dollar yen, so I do think we can roll over, but we need to break out that channel first before we can confirm things. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with dollar yen. Okay, let's see where that gold idea. I'm probably looking at something similar on gold, to be honest, aren't we? Temel, if possible. Yes, I can take a look at CAD yen, no problema. So you're looking for a buy. Gold confirmation. Can speak there for a second. Went above 33.75. Okay, yeah, that's above that. Yeah, I would agree. I think if price does clear this level along with the up end of that channel, that would be a confirmed signal for a buy. Of course, nothing's guaranteed, but I would expect to see price continue to the upside from that point onwards. Yeah, because all I'm looking at for gold is potentially the higher low forming. We've come back into a nice area, respecting a trend line pretty well. We are very corrective, which I like as well with gold. It's very, very corrective, very slow, grindy move down, which shows that the sellers are not really in control. We are seeing a push down, yes, but it's very slow and with a lot of wicks, which tells us that the sellers are pretty weak here and the buyers are still fighting, try and push price higher. So if we can see momentum shift in, a strong bullish engulfing candle closing above that range, I think that would be a great confirmation for a long. And the likelihood is that we do push back to highs and hopefully 3,500 as well, which would be all-time highs. So yeah, pretty much a similar idea there for for gold. So yeah, we'll take a look at CAD yen. I'll go through some more of the yen pairs as well. But yeah, I mean, CAD yen, another yen pair, which is slowly grinding higher. You can see how consistent we've been with all these higher lows. And yeah, to me, it looks like price is still kind of in that channel, still trying to push higher. Yeah, I'm struggling to find a solid opportunity here with CAD yen, because the way I'm viewing the market is, okay, we pretty much got a range here. And if price is going to break to the upside and clear this range, there could be some really nice buying opportunities, which could take us back into this high, maybe back into this high here as well, so on and so forth. So there is some upside to it, but we're really lacking momentum on this drive higher. And typically, if I'm wanting to take advantage of a breakout, I want to see a strong hitting move. I want price to really, break that level and give me some big candles. If I see a breakout and it looks kind of like what we're doing here, very corrective, frequent pullbacks, no kind of overwhelmingly bullish candles, that's not really giving me much confidence to follow that momentum. So I need to see a strong push higher for CAD yen, really show me momentum is well and truly with the buyers. And then yeah, we could be looking for some retests. You've got the prior swing high over here. That could be a smart place for a buy, but I'm just not convinced just yet with it. Yen still looks pretty weak to me. If I have a quick look at the yen basket, which of course represents the yen across different currencies. So if the yen basket is heading down, it means that other yen pairs should be heading up. So if the yen basket is heading down, that means the yen is relatively weak against a basket of other currencies like Aussie, like CAD, like pound, like euro, and like USD as well. So if this is heading down, yen is weak, you expect the yen pairs to be heading up. If this is heading up, yen is strong, and you're expecting the yen pairs to be heading down. In this case, we are looking pretty bearish right now. We are heading towards support, so that could change, but that was a pretty strong bearish candle which closed yesterday with a nice wick to the upside. So that tells us that momentum, at least from a daily perspective, is pointing with the bears. I do think we're due another drop here as well, at least back into support. And then we'll see what happens from then onwards, because maybe price does bounce or maybe we do break through. I'm not too sure. I don't really have a favored outcome just yet. I'm kind of waiting for more information, but at least I think for today, maybe Monday as well, we could see a bit more downside. So that should probably help CAD yen push higher. But would it present an opportunity to buy the market? Not too sure about that. That's kind of where I'm struggling with. So if we can see a bigger move to the upside with CAD yen, great. Then pullbacks after, I think would be a smart place for a buy. But yeah, the key thing is momentum, because we've been ranging for a while. If this is the real deal, if price is really committing to the upside, we should have a much bigger breakup than that before looking to follow. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm waiting for. I'll go through some more of the yen pairs. Yes, per month. Take profit 34.25.90. Okay, that's just below the all-time highs there. I mean, with gold, I don't want to have a take profit with gold. If I do get long, I'm not trying to put a take profit on that. Normally I do with my trades. And normally I have a combination between trading stops and take profits. But with gold, if I do get into a long opportunity, I won't have a take profit. I'll just trail, because as I've said, conditions are very, very bullish. You zoom out, look at the context of the market, what we're doing. I don't really want to put a take profit on this. So I would suggest, that you can have a take profit if you want. I'm not saying don't have a take profit, but I would suggest look to try and see if you can trail a little bit of that position, because the context of gold right now is extremely bullish. There's a very big exponential trend at play right now, and who knows, we might see another continuation of that, and we might see a drive into 3,600, maybe 3,700 as well. And if you have a take profit at like 34.25, which again, nothing wrong with that. It's just that you might be leaving quite a lot on the table and simply just leaving position to trail might allow you to take advantage of that, in this unique situation, because gold's not always in this parabolic trend. Throughout 2020 to 2020, end of 2023, 2024, gold was ranging. So in this situation, trading stops wouldn't perform well because the market is fluctuating a lot. But in this condition, trading stops would perform very, very well. So I would suggest hold on to a small position. Yes, respect your kind of original take profit because you got it there for a reason. But try and experiment with leaving a position to run. I do think we can climb a lot higher. From South Africa, wicked. Whereabouts in South Africa are you from? Mohammed, can you look at Nasdaq and it is an NQ Nasdaq as well. Thank you. But yeah, I'll take that. I haven't gone through any of the indices yet. But yeah, I mean, for Nasdaq, I was going through the indices yesterday and I just said basically they're running out of steam. So I do think there's a bigger pullback really for the indices. Don't get me wrong, I'm still very bullish on them as a whole. I do think we're likely going to push to 22,200, which is the all-time high for Nasdaq. So the market is still overly bullish, don't get me wrong, and still very much likely to push back to highs. But yeah, we've been a little bit flat here. We've come back to lows. We've respected it pretty well. I think we're coming back into a make or break area if I drop to the hourly chart, because we have these lower highs here. And I'm thinking, do we go and put another one in, or do we break to the upside? If we can break through this, that probably would be the catalyst for us to keep going. Would I buy that? No. I always like to buy from support. I don't really look to try and buy breakouts. So essentially, I would want price to push back down there. I'm not too sure if we do, but if we do, keep an eye on that. I do like some areas further down around this area here as well, because there is some heavy support here, and it would be a nice situation if price could break through this support, because I would imagine there would be a lot of liquidity underneath the lows here. A lot of stop losses would be there. So if you can go run through that, tap into this kind of area of demand, which is last major swing low. This is the last major low price created before the high over here. So if you can go tap into that and react well, I think this by default would be a nice place for a buy. Again, I'm not saying that you're going to catch a swing all the way back to the all-time high from here, but I would expect at least to see a nice reaction. And I think it would be a worthwhile place for a buy, and maybe we do see a pushback to the high. So from a swing perspective, this would be my preferred area. A pushback into that area here, because this I kind of view as a bit of a range really. The market looks quite tired. If we can come lower, find some fresh buyers around 21,100, I think that would be a smart place for a buy. And you can see perhaps maybe we do make a move to highs, but I would look to try and secure gains along the way. But yeah, Nasdaq still very bullish. I would want to see a push lower. We are looking tight at the highs here. A lot of rejection there. You can see that on the daily chart as well. Not really finding it, not performing too well there. But if you can come lower, find some fresh buyers. Maybe knock off some buyers up there. Maybe invite some sellers into the market. We might see a nice clean move from then onwards. So yeah, that's about it with Nasdaq. I'm not a big fan of the price action inside that area, but if we can come lower, I do think there is some opportunities there. Okay, Soweto, not familiar with it. King's Trade, I took Nasdaq sells now. I mean, it's in a nice area to short, especially if you are intraday. I'm not too sure I would look to sell just because of the kind of the conditions of the market. It's just very, very flat. We are effectively kind of ranging here. So, yeah, I don't like that about the market really. But yeah, if we are going to see another lower high, like we've been doing, 1, 2, 3, if we are going to put another one in, then in that kind of rough area is where I expect it to happen. We've got one high there, second, a third. Yeah, this is kind of where I would expect a fourth to happen. I'd imagine your stop loss is above the high here somewhere, 21,750, 21,740. But yeah, I just don't like the conditions. If we had more momentum, I would like it, but we're just very flat. And from my experience, I don't perform too well in flat markets unless I'm at the high or at the low. Here is kind of roughly in the middle. So that's kind of why I don't like it personally. But again, just because I don't like it doesn't mean it doesn't play out. I'm just giving you my honest opinion on it. But yeah, from a bullish standpoint, 21,200 would tick my boxes. Elijah, appreciate it, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, if you guys are enjoying the channel, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. Of course, make sure you do hit the bell as well so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. I do go live every weekday, so Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you're free, always pop in, come say hi. Again, talk everything markets. I normally focus mainly on FX, but of course, any other markets people are looking at, feel free to drop it in the chat, and yeah, 9 times out of 10, I'll be looking at it. But yeah, in terms of my watch list, mainly probably go into next week now because of course it's already Friday. So yeah, I mean, my main focus the past couple of days have been longs on gold and silver. I've been keeping an eye on some of the USD pairs. Haven't quite set up for me just yet, but gold and silver have looked pretty good. Silver, of course, we had that sell-off yesterday or early this morning, which kind of just makes me want to take a bit of a back step a little bit with this one. I think, yes, the bigger move is still likely to the upside, but I think I'll just be waiting for a push back into the high here. After all, that's the big level we broke through a couple of weeks back. So if we were to come back to revisit that and retest it, I think that'll be a smart place for a buy, especially for a swing trader. Yeah, it could be a place where you look to buy and hold and just trail your stops and see how far you can take it. But originally I was looking for the retest of this area, but didn't really see momentum come into the market. We were very, very flat. Did see some nice wicks to the downside, nothing too exaggerated. But the key thing is momentum never really came into the market, so I stayed away. Woke up this morning after a very strong push down. I could see, of course, we are respecting support to our left. But the way we've had this pullback, it hasn't really ticked my boxes. I like my pullbacks to be slow and corrective. That gives me confidence that, okay, this is probably just a pullback and price is likely going to continue. You know, this move was very impulsive and this move here was very impulsive, which, you know, impulse is never really a nice pullback to be looking to trade. Sometimes you do see continuations, of course. It's all probability at the end of the day, but again, I'm always looking for quality over quantity. Not really seeing the quality here with silver. So yeah, hoping that we can become a bit more corrective now and see that bigger pullback into 34.8, and then I can discuss some longs from then onwards. But yeah, the market is not really playing ball right now. But gold is playing ball. I like the price action. You can see how corrective it is. So you can compare the pullback here with gold. Compare it to what we just saw with silver. You can see gold looks a lot more healthy. Momentum looks like it's with the buyers. This looks like a nice pullback, and I would expect us to push higher. Now I'm just waiting for momentum to step in to get that entry trigger to take the trade. But yeah, got to stay patient because, of course, maybe gold is going to fall. We're not guaranteed to push high, of course, which is why we wait for confirmations. But yeah, staying patient. If I can find a nice entry, great. If not, you know, the wait continues. But those are my two kind of markets I've been very interested in the past couple of days. Silver, I'll probably leave it to next week. Gold, I could still get an entry today. I wouldn't mind taking an entry today. Some people are not too fond about taking entries just before, you know, the weekend and holding over the weekend. I don't mind it. I do have pretty big stop losses, so I can normally stomach it. And yeah, I would still find an entry if I do get what I'm looking for. Kings, Looking at market structure on NAS. Yeah, that could be the case. That could be the case. Again, I'm not saying price won't go down at all. And again, I actually kind of agree with you in terms of how the market shaped up and in terms of the market structure. We're still forming lower highs here. We very much could form another lower high. That was a strong bearish candle there as well. So yeah, we very much could still very much sell off. Not going to take that away. The only thing I don't like about the trade is just how flat we are. Like I said, if this was coming from like a nice steep downtrend, then yeah, I would really like the opportunity. But just because the market's flat, which is a bit more of just my personal preference, yeah, I will look for a bit more of a trending market condition. But yeah, it's a nice rejection. Come back to a nice area where you could put a lower high in, and we could push lower. Appreciate it to Shepo. Gold possible expansion high. I mean, I'm waiting for it, but I'm just going to stay patient. I mean, I'm looking for entries on the 4-hour chart. So the beauty of that is that you don't have to do anything until the next 4-hour candle does close, which in this case is 2 hours and 53 minutes. So there's actually nothing for me to do because I'm always going to take an entry on candle closure. And because I'm waiting for the 4-hour candle to close, I have to wait 2 hours and 53 minutes. Of course, it doesn't mean that I do get like an optimal entry. Someone entering like an hourly or a 50-minute chart probably would get a better entry. But again, my goal is not to get the best entry in the world. My goal is just to see if I can win the trade, really. I like trading the 4-hour anyway. So yeah, I'm waiting for the 4-hour to close. There's no kind of real momentum here to get excited about. At least in my book anyway. I'm looking for a strong candle to close, preferably kind of just breaking out of this channel. That would be the perfect setup. Like if this candle can pick up the pace and close like this, I know I'm asking for a lot, but that's really what I'm looking for. If I can get a strong candle like that, that'll show me, okay, the buyers are very much in charge here and we're likely to push back to highs. If we kind of just close like this and just kind of slowly push up, not receive much momentum, I'll leave it till the new week, really. with gold. Not trying to force anything. Yeah, I mean, I expect price to go a lot further than that, to be honest. If gold is going to push to the upside, I'm expecting us to run back to 3,500 and see some new highs. 3,600 is not too far away as well. So if gold is going to continue this trend, I expect a lot more than 34.25. But of course, if you're intraday, then you don't want to be too greedy. But yeah, I do think we can go a lot further. Mohammed, I stream from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time every weekday, and strategies, again, it's not like a kind of a definitive strategy. I'm more so just kind of looking for opportunities where price is stretched and there is a likelihood for us to continue momentum or continue a trend. So, if the market is, let's say, pushing to the upside, then we become stretched and it comes back into a key level and there's opportunity for us to return back to highs or return back to a trend. Those are the opportunities in a nutshell I'm looking to take. In terms of how I spot those opportunities, mainly looking at support and resistance, falling market structure on higher time frames. I do keep a close eye on momentum. I utilize trend lines quite a bit as well. A bit of intuition and experience does come into play in terms of filtering which trades I want to take and which I don't want to take. In terms of my kind of like my hard kind of criteria, mainly support resistance, candlestick patterns, identifying momentum is really the main things I'm looking at. Yeah. So yeah, it's more so confluence based, but I'm just looking for opportunities where we've got momentum. The market's a bit stretched, so we're kind of undervalued and we're likely to continue that move. Those are opportunities I'm trying to catch. For example, here with gold, we got a bullish market on our hands, higher highs and higher lows. The market's a little bit stretched to the downside. We're tapping into a trend line, tapping into an area of demand. There's value here for price to go higher. I wouldn't be looking for the same buying opportunity at the highs here because we're already stretched. Yes, the market is bullish, but we're clearly stretched. We're just taking our highs. This is not the place I want to be looking to buy. Now that we've had a nice pullback, the market's stretched. We've probably been taking out a lot of lows here. Now is an opportunity where I'm interested to try and take a buy. So that's kind of the fundamental idea of my strategy, looking for areas where we're a bit stretched and likely to kind of continue with the trend. And of course, same thing with bearish trends. What's up, CS Integrated? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good to see you, my man. No, I do not trade ICT. Glad I traded my stop loss and closed. Okay, yeah, I remember you were long on DXY, weren't you? At 98.85. Yeah, I mean, it was a great trade anyway. Again, that's the idea of trading stops. It's not that you're gonna be perfect and catch the big move every time. Sometimes you will, of course. Sometimes price will reverse against you, and trading stops will be your protection. It's the whole point of them, of course. So yeah, I mean, you got long somewhere down here, I'm pretty sure, and a nice move. I think you said your targets were 99 something, but yeah, you caught the meat of the move, which is the main thing. And I think the exit is good as well. You allowed yourself to potentially capitalize on the bigger move. Didn't happen. Price reversed. Still walked away with a decent swing there. So yeah, I think well managed, to be honest. CS Integrated. I think that's one of the hardest sides of trading. Getting into the market in terms of finding an entry, not so difficult as people make out to be. But I think what happens in between from the entry to the exit and how you plan that and how you operate is kind of where you make your profit as a trader. Because if you're very fearful, you get out too early. Well, you never let your winners play out. If you're too overly confident and you're just trying to shoot for the moon every time, you're going to see a lot of times where price rallies in your favor, hits a level and then comes back and you walk away for break even or even worse, a loss. So if you're not kind of switched on with your exits in terms of having hard take profits or trading stops well or looking at partials and not really being in tune with the market, and that could really make or break you. You can take fantastic entries, but if your exits are poor, you could very much be giving away money to the market despite the fact that you're taking good entries. So I think management is very much slept on, arguably more important than the entry. So yeah, congrats on that. Okay, where was I? Vibe, what is up? What's your analysis, or what have you summarized from the chart right now? You're talking about the DXY chart or gold, which I was on before? If you're talking about the DXY, I'd say we still do have this bearish structure at play, these lower lows and lower highs. I was looking to see if the market could reverse and take out this high, but we didn't. We respected it. So at that point in time, we could very much be seeing a swing back to the low. So DXY at the moment looking pretty bearish. If I'm going to look to buy this one, I need a break of structure. I need to see momentum above the highs. That will give me the confidence to follow this to the upside. At the moment, that is not the case. Market's still respecting highs, and we very much could see a swing back to lows. So yeah, DXY, I would be pretty bearish at the moment. Yusuf, good morning, my man. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Yeah, okay. Long from DXY, 98.573. Short Euro Pound and Aussie New Zealand dollar. Okay. Haven't actually looked too much at Euro Pound and Aussie. Wait, short Euro Pound AUD. Oh, you short Euro USD, Pound USD, Aussie dollar, and New Zealand dollar. Okay. Well, as in right now you're short, or you're looking to short them? Appreciate it, Gospel. Tommy, Dollar Seat Chef, sell. We can take a look at that. I haven't actually gone through USD Seat Chef yet, so we can definitely take a look. Array what is up? Pound yen, buy or sell. I haven't actually looked at pound yen yet as well, so I'll add that to the list. I'll go take a look at dollar CHF, pound yen. Yeah, of course. I mean, everyone's still working on things. No one's the finished article. Always got to look to improve, because you will get left behind. The markets do adapt, they do evolve. If you're not gonna improve, you could get left behind a little bit. Lighton, what is up, my man? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. What is up? No problem vibe with being Ian. Happy to help. How are the markets? Being better. Not that bad. Not really seeing much momentum in the market. I would say USD pairs have been quite flat. Gold's been quite flat. Gold's been the main pair I've been focusing on, and it hasn't really shaped up just yet. So have to be patient. Most traders hate ICT. To read, take market. Again, I've never really watched an ICT video, so I've got nothing against ICT. None of my business really, to be honest. People get caught up in the drama. I'm just here to trade, so people can have at it. But anyway, we'll go through dollar CHF and pound yen. So USD CHF looking pretty bearish. This almost looks identical to the DXY in terms of the market structure, in terms of how we've been moving with these lower highs. If I quickly flick to the DXY, you can see the structure has been pretty much the same. Of course, it is USD related, so you would expect there to be some similarities, but pretty much looks identical. But yeah, dollar CHF very bearish. If I expand to the higher time frames, you can see we've been falling since the start of the year, and haven't really looked bullish since. So the market is pretty bearish. There is pretty key support to our left, which price has broken through and flipped to resistance. Strong rejection there. You can see it better on the weekly chart. Nice wick piercing through the zone, followed by a very strong bearish engulfing candle. That kind of has set the tone, and we have slipped to the downside since then. I said yesterday, as long as these lower highs stay intact, I think the market is very likely just to keep falling. We've got a low here at 0.804, and it looks to me likely that we could see that move. I think there is a bit of a trend line here keeping us bearish as well, and price is just about respecting that. So in terms of entries for dollar CHF, I think there's two ways you can look at it. One a little bit more aggressive than the other. I would say the first way I would look at, which is the more aggressive trade, is to see if we can get a rally back into resistance here. Perhaps form a bit of a double top, look for some entries in this area, and then take the short there. You got a pretty nice risk reward to work with. If you can swing it back to these lows, that could be a very nice trade, especially if you can find a nice entry in the lower time frame. The slightly more conservative and less aggressive opportunity would be kind of waiting for price to clear support here, because I can clearly see that this support level is very significant right now to price. We've had numerous tests of this level, and if we were to get a strong break of that, that would tell us that, okay, this is probably going to be a lower high, and momentum shifted with the bears. If you can find a pullback after and a retest, that would be a smart place to short. This opportunity is more confirmed, more developed, because you've seen price go and break support now. So the chance of us continuing to go lower would be quite high. So if you can find a retest of structure beyond that, then you should have yourself a nice trade opportunity. If price was to push back to highs, of course, we could go further. Maybe the trend is going to continue higher. So it's a slightly more aggressive opportunity, because you're trying to catch the trade before momentum has really come into the market. You're trying to short at the high here. Not a bad trade at all, just a bit more aggressive. But again, as we mentioned earlier, with the slightly more aggressive trades, you do reward yourself with bigger risk to reward opportunities. Because what makes a trader aggressive? The fact that you're entering a little bit early before the confirmation is really set in. That's what an aggressive trade is in my definition. Just entering a market a little bit early. before the confirmation is there, which sometimes is a good thing because it means you're jumping the gun a little bit, which again, you very much could get burnt for it. Don't get me wrong. Entering a bit early means you will get probably stopped out a few more times. But when you are right, you make up for it in terms of the risk to reward. Instead of an opportunity being like a 1 to 2 or 1 to 3, maybe an aggressive entry gets you a 1 to 5, 1 to 6. So if you do take a couple of extra losses here and there, you might be making double the profit for every winner. So yeah, it probably adds up in the long run. But yeah, dollar CHF still respecting highs here very well. As long as this zone here stays intact, 0.82, we don't go and break above that. Dollar CHF in my eyes is likely to roll over. CHF still looks relatively strong as well. It does look like we're likely to push back into lows. In terms of pound yen, this one kind of just squeezing between a trend line and resistance. I don't really have a set in stone bias for this one until I see a sustained break, because I'm not really interested to try and take advantage of these swings. Again, if you look and try and take advantage, shorts at the highs, buy at the lows. I know it's relatively simple, but that's exactly what the market is doing. There's no need to overcomplicate it more than that. We are respecting highs so far very well, and we're respecting the trend line so far very well too. So naturally, if you're looking to buy the market, this is where you want to be operating. If you're looking to sell the market, that's where you want to be operating. In terms of the bigger move for pound yen, I do have some targets to the upside because I do still have somewhat a bullish bias for pound yen. I think we're more likely to break higher. So I do think 199 is a likely destination for pound yen. But of course, the confirmation of that would be a break of the resistance. A strong break of that kind of says, okay, all of this has amounted to a break to the upside. As long as it's not a fake out, we're likely to continue that. Let's see if we can get a retest of the level. That would be a great place to position long. And yeah, as I said, targets back at the swing high up there. So pound yen, I am favoring a bullish market. I'm favoring a break to the upside. It's not quite here yet. For all we know, price could very much respect the high and push back down again. Then we're back to square one. Yeah, if you're looking for a breakout opportunity, looking for to ride some momentum for pound yen, then you're kind of just waiting for the high to break here. If you're looking for some kind of quick mean reversion opportunities, shorting highs, buying lows, you might find a nice sell here. I would wait for a strong rejection. At the moment, not really seeing that. We did have a strong candle there, but I would wait for it on the 4-hour time frame, like we've seen previously. But yeah, if you're waiting for the buys, you need that resistance to clear. Then hopefully we can see some nice break opportunities. Okay, where was I? Lighton, I've always hesitated taking trades on a Friday, but how's these are? Okay, we'll go take a look. Yeah, Friday can be a bit of a weird day. Some people don't like trading Fridays. Some people don't like trading Mondays as well. Mondays and Fridays are kind of like the weird days that people try to miss out. I don't mind Fridays. They can be a bit annoying because, of course, it's going into the weekend, and if you're holding positions over the weekend, there can be gaps in the market. Potential price can gap against you, past your stop loss. So instead of losing what you predetermined, you might be losing double that. So that is a risk of holding over the weekend as well. Something could happen, and it could dramatically affect price when we do open up on Monday. So yeah, I can definitely understand that. And of course, sometimes Friday fluctuates quite a lot as well. The weekly candle's about to close. It can be a little bit of a nuisance sometimes. But my motto is, if there's a good opportunity, no matter the day, really, I'll go for it. As long as it's a good opportunity, I deem it to be, I'll look to try and take it. Yusuf, yep, we'll go through those timeframes on the 15 as well. OKR shorts, but all small amounts of day trades, okay. I'll close with the XY, I have no more strength to go back to 99, okay. Well, let me go take a look at them on the 15. Let me just clear, start fresh. So, Euro USD 15-minute chart. What can I see here? Well, for starters, the market is quite corrective. I mean, I would be looking to sell. I probably would want to see a bigger pullback. I like this range here. Brief consolidation. We did drop quite heavily. We haven't come back to retest it. So that would be an area of interest for me. We do have some resistance to our left. I got a feeling price might break through that. So I'm not so keen to be shorting at that level. But what I would like to see is if price can break a little bit higher, maybe give us a bit of a double top, see some wicks, and then potentially stall from there. We might see a nice short. Now, I'm not necessarily expecting a huge move down for Euro USD. I think we might see a nice reaction. Price might still want to be bullish and still head higher. I think looking at the higher time frames, the 4-hour chart, the momentum is still with the buyers for now. So I would still kind of be cautious with selling Euro. But from a 15-minute perspective, I do think you can catch a nice short potentially for a few hours there. And then look at trying to exit maybe as we approach this area or this high. I think those would be smart areas to lock in some gains. But in terms of an area of interest, I would like this area. You got a major high over here. That's just swing low. Next major high, that's just swing low. Kind of viewing this as another pullback of this move. You got the 0.618 in that area as well. So that's kind of where I see the value in the market. Pushing back to this area, a prior supply back into the 0.618, taking out some resistance. So maybe catching some people on the wrong side a little bit. And just a reasonable area where a lower high could happen. So yeah, I wouldn't mind some shorts up there on the 15. I wouldn't want to get in straight away either. I'd wait for at least like a double top to show that momentum is failing and that we're about to roll over. Yeah, that's kind of what I'd be looking at on the 15. Pound USD, of course, a very similar market to Euro, so we could be looking at something similar there as well. But pound is very flat. At least Euro's got somewhat of a trend about it. Pound USD not as much. I like this area here because again, very strong level of support. We broke through with a lot of momentum there. So there has been a lot of kind of build up and that gave us a pretty big sell. So naturally tapping back into that area, I do think we can see a similar reaction. It's a similar idea really to Euro, to be honest, taking out some highs here, tapping into a big area of supply for a reaction. So I would still favor that as well for pound. I think Euro looks a lot cleaner, so I'd rather spend my time trying to find some shorts in Euro because we got some structure to play with. Pound USD not as much. But the concept still stands. Price support, turn resistance, big area of supply. We've taken out some highs here. Overall, a very corrected move higher as well. So that tells me that at some point I'm going to be expecting a bit of a drop. If you can put some type of double top in or even like a break of structure, that would be nice. And yeah, I'll expect to see some downside from then onwards. What else did you say? GJ on the 15 as well. Well, GJ is approaching resistance, aren't we? So I wouldn't really be looking to do too much here on the 15. Yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't look to do anything really. Major resistance here on the 4-hour chart. I know we're focusing more on the 15, but this is a pretty big level where a lot of fluctuation can happen. And if you're on a lower time frame and you're heading back to a big, significant level on a higher time frame, be prepared for fluctuation and be prepared for a little bit of kind of erratic behavior. If you're looking to try and follow structure, now's not the best time to be doing that. You want price either to do one or two things, break through the level, and then try and find some pullbacks to follow it to the upside. Then, of course, you're above the level. You can probably look to follow momentum at that point, or respect the level, push down, and then try and find some lower highs and some shorts after that. Either which way, you're not kind of looking to do your business at the level. It's more so you wait for price to react and then operate. Trying to be the first one in on the low time frames can be quite difficult. So yeah, really, I wouldn't do anything really on the 15. I'll wait for price to develop and then make a move. At the moment, we're still quite bullish, but that could change pretty quickly. So I would stay on the sidelines with pound yen and wait for a bit more development to come our way. And in terms of gold, very bullish on gold. Yeah, I mean, as for the 15, we've been falling, of course, but it's been overall very, very corrective. And when conditions are like this, I'm always getting ready for the buy. I'm not trying to follow this to the downside. It's a very, very corrective market. And most of the time when we are corrective like this, we do tend to break to the upside. So that's where the bigger move will lie. And that's the move which I wanted to see if I can partake in. In terms of trading it, again, there's two ways to go about it. You can either wait for price to give you the breakout and then find some opportunities afterwards, some pullbacks, some retests. That again is your more safer, your more correct, not corrective, your more safer, your more conservative opportunity. The more aggressive one would be trying to operate at the lows here. So if you could push down, maybe form a bit of a double bottom or test the low of the channel again, this is where you will find your more optimal entry. Again, a bit more aggressive, but position yourself right at the lows. You can get your stop loss underneath the lows there as well. So not only are you maximizing risk reward, but you're positioned very, very well for a big swing. So if you are looking to capture a big move, you're away from all the noise. Yes, a bit more aggressive, price could break the lows and so on and so forth. But again, any trade can fail. This opportunity is good as well because you've got that confirmation that price is breaking the channel to the upside. So that says, okay, buyers are in control now. We're breaking the channel. We're likely to continue higher. But sometimes you don't always see the pullback, or at least the pullback that you're after. And of course, you're a little bit higher up, so you're not as well positioned. But still a good opportunity, still something to look at. Depends how you want to go about it. But yeah, very corrective move. We're about to test a trend line on the 4-hour chart in this area as well. So I do think we can bounce and see some upside. But yeah, it depends how you want to operate. Do you want to take some lows, buys at the lows, or do you want to wait for the breakout then a retest afterwards? Whichever way, I'm expecting price to break higher and a swing back to the high at 34.50. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with gold on the 15 as well. Very, very bullish at the moment. Okay, where was I? Okay, short now. Yeah, I mean, I kind of have a similar bias to you, really, on the lower time frames with euro pound. I think we can see some downside for them. BTC, Antonio. Okay, we'll have a look. Hey, Brayton, great to hear. All the way from South Africa, just passed my first funding challenge. That's great to hear. Well done. Congratulations. Keep it up. Okay, now that you passed the challenge, make sure you do keep the account. A lot of people do tend to pass and then give it away shortly afterwards. You know, you've done a lot of the hard work to get the challenge, get the funding account. My advice is take it slow and steady. But yeah, congratulations. Keep it up. Oh, okay. Use demo account for early entry, or you speak my mind. Good to hear. Good to. I mean, that's a smart way to go about it as well. Because again, early entries are great, more aggressive, more opportunity as well. Because if you think about it, if you're early, you know you're there where the opportunity hasn't really arisen yet. So you're there before other people see it. Because again, especially when you had a bit of experience in the market, we can all see the market in roughly the same light. We can all see momentum. We can all see trends. We can all see, okay, if the market's trending higher, you know, it's very, very bullish. For example, gold's trending low on the 15. We can all see that. You know, the trick, the skill is how can you be in the market before that has happened? So, you know, you're not looking at the market saying, okay, now it's bearish. You're already in the market. So by the time people are going, okay, yes, the market's bearish now, you're already in the trade, you're already potentially taking some partials, you're already locked in some gains, and you're just looking to see how far you can take this. If you're looking to get into the market when everyone says, okay, it is bearish, you know, you're just jumping in the boat with everyone else, which again is not necessarily bad. There are opportunity there as well, but it's not going to be as good as it is before everyone jumps into the boat. But of course, by getting to the boat early, jumping into the moves early, you're going to take a few more losses because it's not set yet. You know, that's the whole point. It's not quite set yet. People haven't caught on to it. Therefore, the risk is a little bit higher. But again, you expect the reward to be greater, and you expect that to kind of cancel out. Anyway, let's go through BTC for Antonio before I do forget. Excuse me. So yeah, Bitcoin. This one has been very interesting. Yeah, I think that's the best way to sum it up, because we're lacking direction now. Of course, BTC as a whole, very, very bullish market, but we are failing at highs there, which is a bit of a worry. I still think there is room to the upside. I still think we can continue higher. The way I see BTC now is that we're kind of just ranging. We've had a very bullish move, towards the start of the year. Now we're just kind of plateaued, and now we're just going to wait to see who's going to take control of the market. Is it the buyers? Are they going to take us to the upside and continue? Or have the buyers run out of steam and we're going to sell off? We don't know. In terms of kind of shorter term opportunity, I do like the buys here at 102, 101k. Very, very solid support. You can see prices reacting on a few occasions and has done very, very well from this level. So I would suggest if you can push back into the low, naturally, if you can see some healthy rejections there, I think that would be a great place for a buy. Marked out this level here, which is kind of 50% of the range. I drew a fib from this level to the high. That's kind of where the 50% is. So I think that's overall a healthy target to have for the trade, because we are forming lower highs here. And I would worry against that. We might push up, might not quite get back to resistance, form another lower high and come back down. So I would be wary of that. But if you can look to book some profits at the 50, you can move stop loss to break even, take partials, and let the market do its thing. But yeah, solid support at 102k. We're kind of ranging now, so just buying low and selling high is kind of the best way to go about it. When the market is ranging, you don't want to be operating in the middle. You want to be at the extremes, which is the lows or the highs of the range. So that's kind of where you want to be positioned. So focus on those areas, and then you can take some opportunities off the back of that. But yeah, very, very solid support. I would wait for a drive back into the low, and then we can discuss some buys after that. But yeah, for the most part, BTC just ranging. I would not try and get involved whilst we're in the middle. That's what all the noise is. Okay. Trading dollar CHF, I closed my sales because of the rejection. Was that a trade you closed recently? Last time we looked at dollar CHF, it looked a little bit flat. I still think dollar CHF can fall. I can see, of course, support we are holding and doing a pretty good job at that. Like I said earlier, there's two ways we can go about this really from a seller's perspective. Wait for a drive back to the high, shorts there for a push down, wait for a push down, break support, and then opportunities off the back of that. Again, a bit more conservative, wait for the break and then some shorts. That allows you to kind of wait for the confirmation, wait for momentum to be in the market and then short. Safer opportunity, you got the confirmation, the likelihood of price falling from then onwards is pretty high. Or wait for a drive back to the high and shorts up there. But I still do favor dollar CHF to fall as long as we don't break through that zone here, this kind of area of supply. I would say we are bearish. We've been very consistent with lower highs. I would still say we're likely to continue falling. But yeah, I'm sure you've got your reasons for exiting. Gerald, what's up, my man? US 30, we'll take a look at, no problem. Double top means a reversal. Not always. It sometimes just means price is just respecting a high. I mean, this would be like a complete reversal. So of course a double top and then a reversal. But sometimes a double top could just mean, something like this, a bit of a pullback, and then the market continues. So technically we didn't really have a reversal. The trend is still very much up, but we did reverse from that high. So yeah, you could say it is, but in the grand scheme of things, it was a pullback for us to continue higher. So, double top just means that we're failing at highs, really. That's essentially what it means. Whether we completely reverse or we just have a bigger pullback, that's going to be up to the market. Um, talk about early entries. Dollar CHF forked me. I need to follow through. Yeah, again, yeah. When you take early entries, be prepared to take those extra losses. Again, it's not a bad thing because you're expecting the risk reward to pay off in the long run. You just want to have the correct mindset for it. If you're going to wait for confirmations, you're going to wait for momentum to really come into the market before buying and selling. You're going to be a little bit more confident with your trades because you got the confirmation. Why wouldn't you be? But the risk reward won't always be optimal. And sometimes you don't always get the pullbacks either as well. But it happens, which is why we've got to manage our risks. Full time frames, mixed signals, standby, sidelines. Yep, I do agree. Trying to predict the next weekly candle, just my experience. Yeah, I would agree as well. I think if something's not looking kind of, if an opportunity is not quality, if it's not quite there yet, best is to just stay on the sidelines. How many times have you seen an opportunity where you're kind of like, yeah, it looks okay, let me just get involved, and then just take an unnecessary loss? Yeah, I think we've all done that. Jay Jones, big fan from New York, appreciate it. Thank you. What's the time in New York? It's like 5 hours behind London, I think, or 6 hours. But yeah, appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words and the support. Appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And I do want to mention I do have a project coming out very, very soon. We're looking to launch next week, involving AI technology for trading tools, because AI is going to play a big part in our future. It's a very ongoing topic, and in trading there is usage for it. And if you're looking to try and see how can you incorporate AI with your trading, whether it's looking at automated trading bots, whether you're looking at AI to develop a strategy, you might have an idea of how you could develop a potential indicator which you can't find in TradingView. You've got an idea for it. Using AI, you can develop that pretty easily. Without, of course, the need to code or look to find a person that knows code to actually develop a strategy for you. So I've been working on the project for quite a few months now, and we're looking to launch very, very soon. So keep an eye on that. I'll actually drop the website URL in the chat so you guys can take a look at it. It's not live yet, but you can kind of see what's coming pretty soon. So if you are interested in looking at AI and see how you can use that with your trading, whether you're looking at kind of automated trading bots or developing your own indicators, or just even using AI to kind of just read fundamental reports as well, do check it out. Okay, where was I? Let me go take a look at US 30 for Gerald. What's up, Blake? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Michael, what's up? Best rate for beginner in a prop challenge. I wouldn't say there's no necessarily best strategy, because you can do literally whatever strategy install, and pass. It's just how good you are at that strategy. A strategy isn't going to make or break you as a trader. There's plenty of successful traders out there trading different styles, but there's one common theme with each and every one of them, is that they're good at that strategy. It could be something very, very simple as to just double tops, double bottoms, looking to try and catch those equal lows. But you do it very, very well, and that's why you pass the challenge. That's why you perform well, because you trade it well. And to trade it well is about your understanding of the pattern, which does take quite a lot of experience, a lot of chart time, a lot of studying of the price action, a lot of study of the patterns, looking for common themes between the winners, looking for common themes between the losers. What do the winners have in common? What do the losers have in common? How can I improve this? How can I enter a little bit better? How can I minimize my risk? How can I maximize my reward? That is how you trade a strategy well. But as to what strategy you use, I would say just keep it relatively simple. Like I said, double tops, double bottoms, a pattern that happens throughout pretty much all markets frequently, and it's a great starting point. when I was starting, I used a strategy that combined trend lines and support resistance. So the rule was I can only buy on the third test of a trend line. So when price had a move, I'll look for the third test of the trend line, and then I would wait for it to line up with a support level. And that was something that I focused on quite a lot in. Very, very simple, but I became good at that strategy, looking for clear signs of quality within it. So there is no kind of magic strategy for beginner or for anyone really. It's just about becoming good at something. I would say keep it simple. You can always get more complex later on in your career, but keep it simple and you just get good at it. That's my biggest advice. Anyway, US 30. So not my favorite indice, I must say. I still think this one's got a long way to go because I'm still expecting a push back to the all-time high, which is 44,996, basically 45k. So still expecting that drive back to the highs. But we are taking our sweet time here. In terms of a trade idea, I'm just not liking how corrected we are. Essentially, this is a bit of a double top here, which we struggled at the highs. I did say yesterday that if we do drive back into the lows here, I think that could be a smart place for a buy. I think it still is. If you can see another drive back into support there, especially for strong rejection, I think that's a healthy place for a buy. Because if you go and take out these lows, that does make it quite awkward for US 30. I don't necessarily want to see price take out the lows here. I want us to continue to respect the lows. Break the lows, I wouldn't necessarily be bearish thinking US 30 is going to plummet back to lows, but that would make things a bit awkward. So I would expect this low to hold. Therefore, if price was to drive back to the lows and see a healthy rejection, I think that would be a great place to position yourself long, stops below the low, and a relatively healthy place for a big swing as well. If you can swing it back to the high there, I bet the risk will look pretty good. And I like how price is moving down. It's very corrective. It's not like we're steamrolling to the downside like we've seen previously with heavy momentum there. It's a very slow corrective move, which does tell me that this bearish move is likely just a pullback for us to continue higher. It's just about where does that low form before we do continue. I do like this support here. So if we could get there, that would be my preferred opportunity for US 30. If it doesn't form here, let's say if we just break to the upside now, then of course the next opportunity would just be the break of the high, then some retest afterwards. If we don't catch the low, then hopefully we catch the break and retest. But yeah, US 30 I'm still very bullish, so I kind of just expect us to head higher really. Morning, Jonathan. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Missed the start live, no problem. Thoughts on Euro? You're long from 1 point. Okay, we'll have a look. See, Mohammed, avoid fake outs, faked out trading support resistance. The thing about that is it's always a minor tweak, because if you think about it, there's only two things that can really ever happen with support and resistance. Price can either respect it and go up, or break through and continue falling. Of course, price might fake the level and then recover it and then push up, but essentially the level still held. It was just a slight fake out. So there's only two things the market can do. So if you let's say if you're buying the market, you're buying from that level, but you got faked out. So you had an entry at the level, your stop loss was here, you got faked out, then price rallied. Well, the easiest thing to do, which I heavily recommend, is just look to enter again. It's the simplest thing to do. If you do get stopped out and you see the market recover support, get back into the trade. Yes, you might have taken a loss here, but as long as you've got a positive risk reward, if the market is going to hold this level, get back into the position. You most likely will make back the loss plus more. The second thing you could do is wait for the fake out to happen. That's probably the most effective way in terms of avoiding the fake out, because you're waiting for it to happen. So you don't take the first test, wait for price to break the low, then recover, then find opportunities. This way, the likelihood of you getting faked out, of course, is a lot slimmer because it's already happened. Sometimes the market could fake the level multiple times. Of course, that could happen too. But if you've already seen one decent fake out of a low or a high, then you can be a little bit more confident that it's likely not going to happen again, then find your entries. So I would say those are the two obvious ways to go about it. Wait for the fake out to happen, then enter after. Or don't be too concerned with the fake out. As long as you're managing risk, okay, you do get faked out, you can always re-enter and get back in. If you're looking to improve your win rate, I would suggest wait for the fake out to happen, then enter. Yeah, if you always kind of take every test of a support resistance, you will get faked out from time to time, and it will sabotage your win rate a bit. So there is a downside to that, but yeah, if you're looking to try and kind of completely avoid it, just wait for it to happen. Sometimes there is no fake out as well. Sometimes price does test support and just continues. So you might have missed the trade altogether, really. But again, with trading, it's always about pros and cons. It's never one solution fits all. So yeah, those are kind of two solutions I would suggest. Okay, so Euro USD, we had a strong rejection of support recently. Price came off the low very well. So you got prior resistance over here, strong break to the high, price pullback, reacted it pretty well. Again, from a bullish standpoint, the market is, of course, on the higher time frame still pointing up. Again, I'm not necessarily looking really to buy Euro because of how corrective we are and the fact that we are coming back to highs. So I'm kind of just staying away from Euro, waiting to see if we can actually break lower. But you said you're long from 1.4794, which is around there, and aiming for 1.152. Okay, so nothing too crazy. Wait, 152. Has price not hit your take profit already? Unless there's a bit of a typo there, but it looks like price kind of hit your target already. But yeah, I mean, it looks like you're not looking for anything too crazy there. I did talk about some shorting opportunities on the 15-minute chart from this level here. So I would be careful of this zone. I think your target's below that, but if it isn't, keep an eye on that area because a very meaningful level of supply, pretty strong drop from that. I think when price does get there, we might see a bit of a reaction and push lower. So I would suggest maybe taking some partials. Of course, price could very much break through that and continue higher, but I think locking in some gains, wouldn't hurt. But yeah, I mean, the trend's still up. If USD is going to remain weak, Euro is going to keep pushing. It's as simple as that, and we're going to break through that zone. But from a technical standpoint, that is still a meaningful area of supply, so I would watch out for that, and it could push us lower. But yeah, if USD does remain weak, we very much could drive through that back to highs and beyond. But again, with a trade, you're never so much trying to predict the market. It's more so you're trying to buy or sell at an area where price is likely to react and push in your favor. How far that goes is up to the market, and that's where your management comes in. Yes, you can have a target of where you expect the market to get to and have a take profit there, but it's not guaranteed. Price might move halfway and then come back to your entry. It might move 90% of the way there and come back to your entry. Not to know that, and that's where the management comes into play. I think your entry's a nice place. I probably would have removed risk by now, and yeah, just see how price gets going. But nice entry, solid location, nice initial push in your favor. There is some supply above you. It might sell. Price might sell off from there. It might not. Watch for warning signs. And yeah, manage accordingly. But yeah, nice entry. Okay, 1.1625. So yeah, that would be at the highs here somewhere. So yeah, that's a reasonable target to have. Like I said, watch out for those areas. But yeah, I would just see how far we could take it and manage the trade accordingly. Maybe trading stops a little bit, but yeah, that'll be up to you. Always have a way to stop. Yeah, that's actually another way. I forgot to mention that as well, having a way to stop as well. The only thing about having a way to stop is that you sabotage your risk to reward. My advice is always try and keep the risk minimal. You want to have room, some buffer room in your stop loss. You never want to have your stop loss directly underneath a low. You want to have it underneath a low, yes, but give yourself some wiggle room. The market is going to fire wicks randomly. You're not going to call a market perfectly to a T to the pip. You know, you're going to have to give yourself some wiggle room. So always give yourself some wiggle room for stop loss. I did forget to mention that. That's a good point. Always give yourself some wiggle room. But yeah, the best way to avoid a fake out, wait for the fake out to happen and enter afterwards. Or if you do get faked out, just enter back in again. Some people get, I know from personal experience, sometimes you get stopped out and you kind of just walk away to the next opportunity. You kind of forget about that chart. You think, okay, I got stopped out, I was in the wrong direction, move on. But then you check back the next day or the next following days and you see, okay, you were actually in the right direction. Your price actually did what you expected it to do. But just because you got stopped out, you didn't get the re-entry and you kind of went somewhere else. So if the trade's still valid, always get back in. You know, you had the bias for a reason, so you kind of want to play it out to completion, or unless you get some big red flags. But yeah, of course, widening the stop will help a little bit as well. Yeah, we could see that happen as well, see this integrated. I mean, I think that my take is that if you're in a buy and you got targets, it doesn't really matter where the targets are. You know, secure gains coming into areas where price can go against you, because you know, any area price can sell off against you. You can have a target up here, but of course, any area along the way, price could potentially find resistance to push down. So I would never close a trade just because price might go against me, unless I see some heavy red flags, like some very strong rejections. Then, of course, yeah, at that point it would make sense. I'll never close the trade completely. I would always maybe take a little bit off just in case we do come back against me. But I'll try to respect my overall targets. But yeah, coming back to those areas, I would agree. Monitoring the trade there, closing some positions could help. Possibility price might retrace at 33.11. Whereabouts is that? Back to these areas, yeah, possibly. I mean, at that point, we're losing that trend line confluence, which again is not make or break. If you do break through a trend line, doesn't necessarily signify the trend is reversing, but a trend line is always a good confluence to have in your favor. So if we do go and break the trend line and push further down, I'll probably back away really from gold, to be honest. I would still be bullish, but I wouldn't actively looking to buy. Yeah, I wouldn't be actively looking to buy. I kind of like where price is. If we can see a strong shift there, I'll be looking to take a trade. If it does break lower, yes, we still, I mean, technically speaking, as long as price doesn't break through this low, we very much could still drive up from anywhere, really. But I kind of like where we are right now, so we could go lower, but I'm looking for entries in that area. Okay, Antonio. Okay, we'll take a look at dollar. Morning, my man. Hope you're well. Okay, we'll take a look at oil as well. We'll go through USD CAD and oil to wrap up. But yeah, USD CAD is an interesting one. I am bullish and bearish at the same time. Basically, I've got areas below which I'm looking to buy from, and I've got areas above which I'm looking to sell from. In here is just kind of no man's land. I'm not looking to do anything in here. If I expand to the daily chart, you can see we have a lovely area of demand here. If we look to our left, humongous move to the upside from that zone. We've come back to retest it. We've had a nice reaction. So if price can come back there again, I would expect to see a similar bounce. So this is where I'm bullish from. We've been quite bearish, yes, but we can see we're losing momentum, becoming quite corrective. I mean, we formed this kind of descending structure here, which represents momentum slowing and possibly getting ready for a bit of a bounce, which we've seen. So if you can revisit, I will be looking for a buy, but equally, the market is still bearish. We are forming lower highs still. So if we do drive back into these areas, I do think a lower high could form and a push back down. And for the most part, we are starting to become a bit corrective here. So if we keep up that behavior into this area, If I can see some strong confirmations, I think a short from there looks good. Likewise with the zone up there, really nice areas of supply. So I'm keeping a close eye on dollar CAD. I can see shorts and longs, so I'm not gonna pick a side really, because I think there are opportunities on both sides of the markets. It's just about where you position yourself. But yeah, longs down here look good, shorts up there look good. So I'm just gonna keep an eye to see how we develop. And oil. Last time I checked, oil was looking pretty bullish. Yeah, still is. So again, there's not much to do with oil really. My focus has been on 66. Unfortunately, we didn't see the retest of that area for the buy. Kind of just had a slight pullback afterwards. We tapped into this area here, and that was more than enough for price to rally. Now we're coming back into resistance. So I'm not really seeing much to do here with oil. I do think we can go further. My next big target would be the high here around 80. So there is more upside in the book. Do I really want to be buying at the highs here? No. I want price to push down really. These are the areas which I want to buy from. 66, that's an area which I want to buy from as well. So I am bullish for oil. I do think we can go a lot further, but I'm struggling to look for opportunities. I think up here is not really where I want to be buying. I think we can push higher. 80 looks like the next big target for me, but the opportunity is not quite there yet. I need price to give me a bit of a discount, pull back, and then we can talk about some buys. At least back into this area, preferably back into 66. But yeah, expect more upside, but still very bullish. But yeah, guys, we have approached the end of the stream. I do really appreciate each and every one of you tuning into the stream, chatting with myself. I do really appreciate it. Before you guys do leave, it would be great if you could hit the like button. It does really help support the channel, and of course subscribe to the channel as well if you do want to see more of this content. It does really help out. It gets the channel to a wider audience. So I do really appreciate it, guys. And of course, hit the bell too, so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But guys, really appreciate you tuning in to another stream. Check out the Discord channel to Elevating Traders. If you're looking to join a community, chat with other traders, chat with myself. You can find me there as well. So do check out the Discord if you are interested. Free to join, linked in the description. But guys, really appreciate you tuning into another stream. I will be live again next week, same as always, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time, Monday to Friday. So you can definitely find me next week, and of course we'll go through it all again. I do have my weekly analysis coming out on Saturday, so I'll recap this week and forecast the next. So if you are looking for some guidance for the upcoming week, check out that video. It will be coming out tomorrow. But guys, thank you for tuning in. Have a great day, have a great weekend, and I'll catch you all in the next one.